Hey everybody, Reverend Rob here. Do not go away. I have Joan of Angels with us today. Man, do I need to talk to her, and you need to listen to what she's got to say. Hold on. It's right after this. Bang around. This is Tarot with an Attitude, featuring your host, tarot consultant and spiritual medium, the Reverend Rob Lee. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Tarot with an Attitude. This is Reverend Rob. Wow, your tarot consultant and spirit medium. Bangarang. I am your host. Welcome back. Boy, am I excited about today. I want you to be too. Today, we have Joan of Angels. Let me get her information up so I can make sure I'm reading it to you right. Okay, Joan of Angels, also known as Dr. Joan Hangarter, is an international speaker, visionary, intuitive guide, and a renowned spiritual artist, captivating audiences worldwide, literally, with her mesmerizing artwork and profound insights. Using her background as a chiropractor with an MS degree, person of my own heart, in counseling, she is on a mission to ignite the divine spark within everyone and turn up their light. Wow. So here we go. Without any further ado, let me bring in Joan of Angels. Why, Miss Joan?
Great introduction. It is so great to see you.
It is, man, we did a show together a while back. You, me, and my wife, and we just had a ball. I remember that. Everything
really
just
was.
clicked, you know? And we did a lot of tarot readings, things like that. I might get to a tarot reading or not. But, you know, what I want to do, and you've got a whole lot going on, so I want our people to be able to know where to find you and everything. We're going to go through that. And all of Miss Joan's links will be in the description below. So make sure you check it out. She's got a lot going on and some new stuff I want you to see in here that's really cool. So, but, you know, recently I embraced very much more of my medium side, okay? And I was doing a show in Falmouth, Maine, okay, and live, about 40, 50 people somewhere in that neighborhood at a theater. And I used my cards and everything, but we were bringing spirits in. And one of the things I have always found that I tend to connect with is that when I'm doing this, a lot of times I'll get an angel. I'll get somebody's angel. I'll get a spirit guide. I need you to tell me if that makes any sense or if I need to go practice more.
Okay. First of all, I'm going to tell you you're amazing. So if you're getting angels, spirit guides, departed loved ones on stage, on call, that's amazing. But I want to just tell you hello. It is so good to see you. And you know, one of the things that I love to do, first of all, behind me, you're going to see a portal. So I know you were talking about portals.
Yes.
So I paint portals because I help guide people to not only connect with the angels, but to really see what's on the other side and also live their best life and free themselves. So these portals take you to new dimensions. They take you on transformation, and or they'll connect you with the higher dimensional beings.
That's amazing, because that was something else, especially in my last little journey. And my wife was sitting, when I went away, my wife was sitting in her little workspace. When I got back, I was like almost in tears and everything. And it was portals, dimensions. And that is just something that is near and dear to my heart. But, you know, like I said, the first thing, I just want to make sure I am on the right track when I say that when a medium can channel, or when I channel, it is nothing wrong that I can channel what is an angel spirit or what is a guide spirit. Is that true?
Well, so what I don't understand is why that would be considered a bad thing.
Okay.
I have people come to me all the time. Joan, how do I connect to my guides? How can I see my angels? How can you show me how? And here you're wondering if it's a good thing. Listen, if we're connecting with beings that are here to support us, you can always say, are you from the light? And they're going to have to tell you. So if you have a good feeling about them when you're connecting, then that's the positive, because how else do they communicate with us? They communicate with us either by sight. Now that's a great thing. You can see them. I was just teaching a class about when you can see them, you're clairvoyant. When you sense them, you're clairsentient. When you
That's
hear
it.
them, you're clairaudient. But no, people, this is amazing. This is how they share their celestial wisdom with us. We have to see or hear or get a message from them some way. And so seeing them tells me that you're pretty clairvoyant because you can see.
Well, I get an image. I don't know if it's an actual crystal. I can't tell you, oh, he's blue-eyed or whatnot. To me, it is more clairsentient. I sense it, but I do get some type of male, female, presence when I'm doing this for somebody. And I guess the thing that, since I've always done tarot, I've loved tarot, and with my MSW, I have been very good at being able to breach with that higher conscious, lower conscious, things like that. But this was a step new to me that a lot of people have been begging for me to do. And when you go to something like this, a lot of times they're only seeing dead relatives, okay? But there's so much more than that. And it's so much more available to us. And I don't think most humans are taking advantage of it.
Well, you're right. And so, I just want to point out that when you go and tell people you're a medium, most people do get departed loved ones, except it always depends on the medium. And so again, it says that you are connecting to higher dimensional beings. They're the ones who probably want you to do this work.
Okay.
And it's important to understand that. So funny. I was helping to facilitate a plant medicine journey a weekend last weekend. And I was teaching workshops and doing readings. And I taught a class on how to know if you're how you use your intuition to discover if you're more clairsentient, clairaudient, clairvoyant. And so I broke it down for people. And this guy came up to me the next morning and he said, Joan, it was amazing because I saw all of these things. I didn't hear anything, but I saw it and I realized, maybe it was the reverse. He said, I didn't see anything, but I heard. And I had a sense of knowing, but I didn't get concerned that I wasn't seeing anything because I realized after our class that I'm clairsentient, that I'll feel it and know it. And that's just as valid as seeing it. And it gave me a big hug.
Oh, that's awesome.
We have very different ways. Every person has a very different way of using their intuition. And I take people through a class on how to, and it's on my website, that class, but I take you through it so you can find your intuitive style.
That's awesome. Real quick, let's tell everybody where your website is, just in case.
Well, just so you know, I'm the only Joan of Angels on the planet. So if you remember Joan of Arc and then you go, no, she wasn't Joan of Arc, Joan of Angels, you'll get it. So joanofangels.com, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Joan of Angels, everything is Joan of Angels to be consistent. Or Dr. Joan of Angels if I want to be formal.
Exactly. Because don't take that away. You are an actual doctor, and people need to understand that. We're not talking about a doctor from what's its, Prime University. We are talking about, you got your doctorate from where?
So I'm actually a doctor of chiropractic, and I have a master's in counseling, an MS in counseling. But you know what I do that's really related to that? I don't have a hands-on chiropractic practice anymore. However, I am somewhat of a medical medium. And so people come to me for health issues, and I help find alternatives to help you turn your power on. So what I did as a chiropractor, after every adjustment, I used to say, I'm here to turn your power on. We just turned your power up. And then I realized I do that after all my sessions. We've just turned up your power. We've just turned up. What's your power? That energy that flows through you so you feel confident to do your work. And that's what I do. So if you're going to go look at Joan of Angels, I have a spiritual chiropractic in a sense where I just working with you from my home to your home. We can make changes. We can make suggestions. And I also look at soul aspects and the reasons that you're here and how to let go of all your issues. So I've come a long way since my chiropractic days.
So let me ask you this. And I was on your website and everything. And I'm like calling people, hey, you got to check this out. You got to check this out. The soul portrait.
Yes.
And I've got a phone over here buzzing away, and I got to get it off where I don't hear it. Okay. Now, yes, everybody, the Rev just threw his phone on the floor. It's carpet. It's okay. Now, listen.
Don't call him. He'll call you.
Yeah, exactly. They'll call back. And, you know, but the portrait, the soul portrait, man, with you and I haven't worked together before, and your insight and your ability to see and channel. Tell us about that. What is that?
All right. The soul portrait is very delicate. You reach out to me and we have a session where I not only like look at different aspects of your soul, I look at different aspects of your life with you. And then I go into a kind of deep state for on and off for weeks. It could take weeks. I'm speeding up the process.
Right.
And when we're done, I have a video for you of 10 to 12 different soul aspects. And so what do I mean by soul aspects? From past lives and present lives, when we go into trauma, we lose parts of ourself. And those parts of ourself need to be recalled back so we can become a complete whole. And so I go through these different soul aspects, either from different lifetimes or this lifetime. And then we pick one and I send you a painting and then we activate it. But I have a special service that I've just launched, but it's very expensive. It's almost $5,000. But for 6 weeks, I take you through personal coaching sessions and we really unfold who you are. And as we go through it, I start showing you some of the art to trigger your memories and to help you really get and claim this integration. It's a reintegration of all the parts of you that have been fractured from lifetimes of distress, not just this lifetime, so that you come back to an integrated whole.
Wow.
So if you're interested in the advanced one, it's not on my website. That would be with the 6-week coaching. You can send an email to joanofangels@gmail.com or go to my website. You can fill out the contact form. That's very specialized. I only accept a few clients for that. But you can also book a regular soul essence portrait, which is pretty powerful. And I have some testimonials up and testimonials on my website about it too.
That's awesome. So now let me ask you this, and I want y'all go check out her artwork too. Her artwork's beautiful. Okay. So, and if you befriend her on Facebook, you'll see different things and whatnot. You know, you really got to get to know this woman. It's very strong. I'm always glad that I can reach out to her or whatnot. Now, here's one of the things too I knew I wanted to talk to you about. In some of my latest experiences, portals have been being brought to me, the vision of portals, things like that, in a very strong manner. Okay.
And strong man.
What's that?
In a strong manner or a strong man? One of us.
Portal is in a stationary place, but can't we not create our own portals?
Oh yes, some of us are portals. So
okay.
a portal is an opening from one dimension, from one state of being to another. So there was a spot in my house that was a portal. Okay. There's some of us are portals. So when I work with people, sometimes we go through a tremendous amount of transformation from one state to another. So I act as a conduit or a portal, or you can have openings like this one behind me. Let me see, I'm going to get out of the way. It's a stargate. It's literally a stargate.
Okay.
And although the frame is cutting it off, when I meditate with this piece of art, I put it on my belly and I can see beings coming towards me.
Okay.
That want to connect. So we can use them in different ways. There's another use for portals, and that's for traveling. Not just, well, you travel from one dimension to another, but apparently there's some advanced technology about when you're in a portal that you can direct it. So when I was in Egypt last summer, very fascinating. We had a great tour guide who actually has been on Gaia TV, And he took us up to one gate and he started to talk to us about portals. And he said, the last time I went through this, and he was alone last time, he said, I literally saw the stars on the other side. So when he was trying to then coach us on going through it. Of course, most of them are demagnetized in Egypt, and there's too many crowds of people, but there's these portals everywhere.
Okay. And so how does somebody begin? I know I tell a lot of people, and I think they're tired of hearing me say it, but it's so important that you have to learn to be present. You have to learn to open up and to trust yourself to be able to really see this. I think a lot of people want to see them, want to find them, want to open them, but I don't think they have. People have been so brainwashed. I think they don't understand, is this really me? Or am I just being silly?
For many years, I doubted what I said. So one of the biggest things that I teach about, honestly, I just taught all weekend, so it's all in my head now.
Okay.
But I have you keep a journal, and on one page, or many pages, but all dedicated to what happens when you listen to that little voice inside. Now, that is usually a whisper. It's usually something you ignore most of the time. But if you paid attention to it and you followed the guidance, then you want to write down all the results you got. But then if you heard something and you ignored it, now that's the big one. If you ignored it, what happened then? So for instance, I could tell you that when I ignore my intuition, I was told one day I had a rental car. I just left the tax accountant's place with three tax returns. Thank God he had filed them electronically, because I hear a voice when I get to my car. It was a rental. The voice says, don't put your, I start to open the trunk. It says, don't put the returns in here. I said, what? What do you mean don't put my tax returns in the trunk? And then the voice said, the trunk will fly open. And I go, that is crazy. And I put the tax returns in the trunk and stopped short. Trunk flew. All the tax returns flew out.
Man.
And to this day, so I got a call 2 days later from LA Public Works. He had my daughter's social security number. And now I realize that there's some guy who has my social security number because he's using it. The IRS contacted me. There's nothing they want to do about it, but it happened. So my list of all the times I didn't listen really has taught me a lot, because sometimes we're going to be in a situation where your gut says run. And what are you going to do? Sit there and go, oh, I don't know. I don't know whether to trust it or not. No, you run. Like if the hairs stand up, you have to learn that the first thing is to learn what I call discernment. How do you actually, because intuition is you hear something and that's hard enough. Then you interpret it and then you act.
Yes.
And
what strikes me with that, and I've said this on other shows, when I was working a lot with addictions and addicts and things like that, I got in trouble because of AA has helped a lot of people, but it's let a lot of people down too. And I just want everybody to realize that. But one of the things they would always use, the acronym FEAR, false evidence appearing real. And I'm telling people, fear serves a purpose. Okay. We're not to ignore fear. There's also another acronym, F everything and run. And I'm like, so let me ask you this. I said, if a snake comes crawling through your room, is that false evidence appearing real? Are you going to go pick up this hallucination and throw it out? Or are you going to get fear is going to drive me? I said, we're supposed to listen. So there are times, I said, but we're not supposed to live in fear. And what you said struck me is that we have to be on top of our thoughts and our emotions to be able to tell when it is false evidence appearing real or when it is time to F everything and run. Get out, leave.
Intuition is also, so being open to your intuition means that you follow that advice before you follow the scientific, rational world. You're connecting to the divine and receiving messages. So often you'll feel it in your gut. And, I learned this. My dear friend was an Aztec Indian. And when he was passing, I said, how will I know you're coming to me? Because I was assuming he's going to come back and talk to me. He said, when you get that pain in your gut, that comes when you're about to make the wrong turn or wrong decision. He said, that's when I'm going to be really with you. You're to pay attention to that pain in your gut. And I noticed after that, when I was about to lose money or do something very stupid, I'd get so much in pain. My stomach would be so much in pain. But because Lalo had said that to me, I was like, oh, okay, that's a direct message.
Right.
Yeah. You have to pay attention. Your body will tell you if something is not right for you.
And that's so important for people to listen. I keep trying to tell them it's called a gut instinct, a gut feeling for a reason. Okay.
Right.
That didn't just happen to come up. And everybody's like, well, I wish I could do what you do. And you know what Miss Joan does and everything else. And I'm like, you can. It's just whether you sharpen your senses and you start accepting the things you're seeing, the things you're hearing. And some of that, it lies in that if you don't accept that the things you see and hear are real, then you're going to have a problem, okay, trying to achieve the next steps of anything you want to do. Because I'm a firm believer, the universe, we have energy. I'm not a big person to say, oh, the universe loves you and wants to give you this. No, the universe it's energy. It's like a light bulb, but it has every energy we need. And it's like, I'm laying the tools out there for you. It's whether you want to use them or accept what I've given you or not. Your life is yours. And I think that goes here of when you go, wait a minute. I know everybody's saying turn left, but that gut is saying I got to go right. It might take me a little longer, or I need to turn around. There's something you need to do. And I do feel that that's the energy that we're trying to tap into. But until you learn to use it and be in one with it, you're kind of stuck.
Yeah. It can save your life when you learn to listen to your intuition. And that happened to me literally when I was going to go to Disneyland with my kids. And I had said to myself, okay, I'm no longer going to second guess my pendulum. I'm going to listen to my pendulum. I had promised the kids we're going to go to Disneyland. I had a house full of their friends. We were leaving at 4:30 in the morning. At 4 o'clock, I'm in my bathroom. I take the pendulum out and I say, is it safe for us to go to Disneyland? And I got a no. And I got a strong no. And it was raining out. I said, is it the weather? No. Will we have an accident? No. I couldn't figure it out. But by 7, the kids woke up and I'm still sitting there going, we can't go. And this was really, honestly, I had promised I was going to trust it. And I was in a real dilemma because up until then, I'd ask it 100 times. I always second guessed my pendulum. So at 2 o'clock that afternoon, I go outside and I look out around me, and it had been pouring for days. And my retaining wall is, instead of being straight up and down, was backwards. Oh, and wow. There's a house on the hill right on this side, and it started to slip a bit, possibly going into my pool, and the whole hillside's about to come down. And so fortunately I was home. I was home because I had paid attention to the pendulum. And it took 48 hours for my gardener and his crew to bolster up the retaining wall. And that house up on the hill did slide some. And all I could say was a miracle that I was home. I would have been in Disneyland. I don't know what they would have done. I guess, the house. Anyway, so I say, ever since then, I've been teaching people to pay attention because the gut, this intuition is the most remarkable thing. It'll tell you the right direction to go in with your life. If you sit there in the morning with a cup of tea or coffee and you have a pad and you go, well, what should I do today? What's the best way to follow my guidance or forward my business, or what are the best things for me to do? You'll get flashes of insight. And if you follow that, you'll learn what your purpose is, and you'll learn the direction that you and your guides chose before you came here.
I have a thing that I try to teach people, and I think I was doing it back then when you and I first met. And I might have mentioned on the show, it's called my 20-minute challenge. And one of the things is to just set your clock, get up 20 minutes early, not a half hour, because I know how monumental that can be to some people. Okay, so 20 minutes. Take your shower, get dressed, leave your shoes off is the only thing if you can. But now you've built in an extra 20 minutes. If you smoke, grab a cigarette, don't care. That's between you and yours and whoever. Get a cup of coffee, get a cup of coffee. But start sitting still for 20 minutes. Drink your coffee, no phone, no nothing to interfere, and start listening to thoughts. And then I have an exercise you can do with it. But that is when you'll start learning to listen and hear actual messages. And for a while, you're going to want to second guess yourself, you know? But after a while, these messages will start making sense because it becomes a practice. And that sounds just like what you're talking about. And I got to have you back again because I haven't done a pendulum show yet. I love pendulums. I
love pendulums.
Oh, my God. There's a lovely young lady that I had on one of my first shows called Bridget Meesmer. She has a thing called Eyes of the Dragonfly. She loves pendulums. And me and her husband are like very close friends, and her and my wife and me and her, we're a very tight little foursome. And when we go into a juju shop, we cannot approach a pendulum rack together, okay? Because they all start moving and swinging.
Right. Take me.
Yeah,
I have a collection of all kinds of pendulums.
Sometimes I'll even go outside. She'll go outside, or whatnot, and try to marry some of it down. But I noticed this. There are times, her more so than me, but it does happen when we get so concentrated on the energy of everything that's going on in what we call a juju shop, a very good spiritual shop or whatnot, especially a good one. Okay. We will literally get overrun with a headache for a half hour after we've left because of vibration and everything.
Right. Well, and we know everything is vibration. I think really the key when we say these things aren't existing in our plane is that if you slow it down, you'll see that like this cup is not solid. Actually, it's molecules and atoms that are running around. So I went to a spoon bending class in Sedona last year.
Oh, wow.
And I found it very challenging and suddenly though, I was thinking of the Matrix. And I think he says, you go around it, or I don't know. I was thinking of the Matrix and the Oracle in the Matrix and the little boy who bent the spoon. And suddenly I could see the molecules of the spoon expanding. And suddenly it wasn't really a spoon. It was this moving thing. And so I just then grabbed the spoon and just easily squeezed it. The next step is to do it with my mind. I'm going back to Sedona this month, and hopefully they'll have another spoon bending class to do it with my mind now.
That would be great.
But we can. Our skills are incredible when we learn to master them. And when we learn the gift of telepathy, the interesting thing is that the two of us were wanting to connect with each other. And about a week ago or 10 days ago, I started thinking about what was his full name again? How do I find Robert? Like what? Where are you? I asked Victoria, I said, remember that guy who did cards? And sure enough, then it's like, oh yeah, that's his name. I got an email from you. But that's not coincidence. That's because the universe really can pick up your best good and your thoughts and picked up Robert's thoughts and probably put us together so all of you in the audience can get a taste of what we're laying down for you.
That's it.
Technology.
So, Miss Joan, is there something else that you've got going on that you wanted to go into and tell everybody, hey, you got to check this out? Was there a message that you had?
Well, okay, first of all, guys, we're living in interesting times, and these are the times where you're going to need to be steady, and you're going to need to trust yourself, and you're going to need to really look at the big picture of things and not be so wrapped up in the 3D, because that really our country is entering into a difficult time, and so is the world. But each and every one of you have a soul mission, and your soul mission, what you came here is just to hold your light, hold your power, And that's what I do. I do sessions that help people hold their energy and remember why they're here, and live your best life and be your best self. So live, the dreams that you've had and step into your leadership or your gifts, because that's what life's about, is to really move forward with who you are. Transformation is what the galaxy is about. It's not like holding tight to the same old
Right.
same, because too much is going to happen around you. So learning how to trust your guidance, learning how to discern what's right and wrong, learning how to turn up your power. These are things I guide people on, how you turn up your vitality and your life force, so you too can connect with the angels like Robert is doing too.
It's amazing. That last trip, I actually learned one of the angels I've never been able to put a name to or anything else, and he just stepped forward, and his name is Thuriel. And I actually come up. My wife's like, "What?" And I said it, Uthriel, all right. But I started looking up, and there is an angel, Thuriel, and I mean, I had it all right except one letter, you know. Um, and oh my goodness, it's
Mm-hmm.
like, wow, the connection became stronger or whatnot. And one of the things I do want to tell people, and what you're saying is, you know what, you're never alone. I always heart this, and everybody's like, "What do you mean?" Yeah, I'm so alone. No, you're not. You always have presence. You always have power. There are things here that are beyond the universe. You have guides, you have angels. There are your own spirit things. They never leave you, whether you want to call it God,
Mm-hmm.
Mother, universe, or whatnot. We walk away from them. I said, when was the last time you got up, just sat up, got your coffee, and sat down and said, "Hey, good morning. I haven't talked to you in a while." And you just talk. It's no big gobbledygook prayer or anything else. They want to talk to you. And I make a joke about, knock, knock, knock. Hello, this is your higher conscience. I miss you. you know, and but that's so important. And wow, that's just powerful. That just reiterates things I've been thinking, things I've been feeling, and things I've been trying to tell people. You are awesome. And I certainly appreciate you.
I'm just so excited to be talking to you. Actually, this is really fun because we did, last time we were so busy reading cards for people, but I
Yeah,
didn't even know what you think about. And so this is actually great to find out more about what you do and share what I do with people. Yeah, it's all about helping you all live your best life. And
absolutely.
no matter
Absolutely.
what is going on around us, and if the world is caving in, you still could be doing you in a really good way and be of service to others who need help and don't understand. And so many, if you're listening to this show, you already have gifts that are just waiting, waiting, waiting for you to master.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You know what, everybody? I've got a spread laid out here. Miss Joan, would you care if I show the cards that came up while we were talking?
Oh, please do. Please do.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I'm going to throw this in. We're going to go here. We'll make it a little bigger because I think you'll just find this completely awesome. This is the shadow card. The Two of Wands was the first card. That's the card when I cut the deck that's on the bottom. And a lot of people ignore that card, but it's just as important in the middle as it is. And a lot of times this tells us what's going on. And one of the things, folks, if you're wanting to do what Miss Joan does, what I do, you're trying to reach out, this Two of Wands is here to tell you, you got to make a plan. You've got to start saying and changing your mind about what you really want to accomplish and understand what is available to you. And then we got the Eight of Swords, and I'm sitting there going, oh, crap. The Eight of Swords, Miss Joan, that's my stress card. Okay. That means you're so worried about yesterday,
Mm,
you're blindfolding yourself to be able to move forward. Okay. And that's what's going on with a lot of people. They could, if you notice our girl here, she could easily free herself. Okay. But she's afraid to move because she's not even thinking about today. She's thinking about yesterday.
right. Right.
And
Right.
then we have my great Knight of Cups. There are spirits, there are guides, God, universe, angels, the mother, even people that have got you don't know from past lives or you don't remember. They're all around you to help you come in and help move you forward. But we're not grabbing it. We're not reaching out. They're there. Okay. Stop worrying about everything so much. And finally, what was really cool is this Queen of Wands. Notice we start with the Two of Wands and we go all the way to the other end of the spectrum to the Queen. And this is that nurturing. It's time to take care of yourself, your dreams. Where do you want to go? Look at the sunflower that's growing up. The independence. Start free thinking. And this is one of those sayings where I go, free your mind, your ass will follow. And that is just,
I love it.
So that's the reading I got. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I do. Well, I have a reading too, and I pulled 4 cards. These are oracle cards.
Great. Here, I'll do this.
Okay, I'm going to set it up so you can see it. This is the wishing well. So these are oracle cards from Colette. What's her name?
Colette Baron Reed.
Yeah,
I have that deck. I love it. That's awesome.
So the wishing well. So that says that, okay, guys, start your dreams, you know, put them in a bucket, write them out, what they are, start collecting what your dreams are. So we're so aligned. And the second one is cleaning house. So what do you do after you put together the whole list or a little bucket of all your dreams? You clean house. You clean house mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. You get rid of the clutter. You get rid of everything that keeps you from hearing the guidance. You get rid of everything that's kind of covered you up, like that poor 8 of Wands woman who could have walked away. And then what do we have? This is a creativity card, field of dreams. So many things. The wishing well, you put your, you start writing out your dreams. You clean up so you can hear. What's the first thing that happens? You literally can go to sleep and all these dreams come to you. You begin to understand what your next steps are and who you are and the unlimited possibilities. And then my favorite card in the whole deck, ride the wave. So once you've done all the pre-work, just like a surfer, they paddle till they get exactly positioned for the wave to take them in. I call it the miracle wave, but you have to get positioned. Now you've positioned yourself and all you have to do is take a deep breath and go with the flow and ride that wave. And I think it's the same thing.
That's exactly. I mean, we could have matched those card for card. Your definition with my cards, that's amazing. Folks, this is why I love this woman so much. Thank you so much. Again, joanofangels.com. You've got to go check her out. So many different things. Reach out to her. She will be glad to help you do whatever needs to be done, help you find your path, help you find your way. Okay. And again, make sure on my end, you're hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button, and share. People need to hear this. And a lot of people are afraid to share these types of videos. But guess what? That's that learning to move forward and not worrying about everybody else and break free. Because you never know when you pass on some information, what another person may actually be relying on you without you knowing about it to get it. So that information is there, not just for you, but it's to help you with other people and things like that. Miss Joan, thank you so much.
It's been so fun.
Absolutely. So everybody, take what you want, leave what you don't, but leave having experienced some peace, love, and light. Bangarang! This is Tarot with an Attitude, featuring your host, tarot consultant, and spiritual medium, the Reverend Rob Lee.